The Art of Relationships radio show is copyrighted. No one is to use any part of the show without express written consent from myself, Greg Dzinski, or the Art of Relationships. Thank you.
Welcome to the Art of Relationships radio show. Greg has been a relationships expert guest host on numerous radio shows. He promises that this show is for you and to help listeners become more fulfilled, healthier, and happier in your relationships and lives. Licensed relationship and sex counselor Greg Dzinski. The Art of Relationships radio show will cover crucial elements in rebuilding emotional and physical intimacy, plus help in reigniting the passion in your romantic relationships. He also welcomes live calls from listeners in helping with these very challenges. No more tit-for-tat arguments. Greg gets to the root of couples' challenges in a rapid, matter-of-fact format, plus applies compassion and humor. Join in discovering how to improve your romantic relationship and your own life. Listen, laugh, and grow happier. Greg is a licensed professional counselor in the state of Michigan. To others, he's simply known as Master G.
Hey, welcome everybody. This is Greg Dzinski, licensed professional counselor, relationship and sex specialist, coming from you live from podcastdetroit.com studios here in Detroit City. Hopefully everybody's doing okay. A few minutes late. Apologize for that. It is Sunday night. Hopefully everybody is enjoying a terrific weekend, and I'm trying to get the new call-in line. So if people want to give us a call live, I know I put it on Facebook, and I apologize for that. But you can give us a call on our Podcast Detroit studio line. It is, it's 248-579-5295. Again, the number is 248-579-5295. And hopefully everybody's doing okay. You can join me live on the chat, as well as I think people are familiar with the show. Join me on live chat. If you're using the Art of Relationships radio show's own phone app, you can join me on live chat. I see Melissa's already on there. Welcome, Melissa, again. You got to throw out some questions for me. And you can also listen or chat live, like I said, on the show's own app on Android and Apple devices. You can also chat live at Spreaker.com/user dot, or I'm sorry, not dot, slash again after user, Greg Dudzinski, DUDZINSKI. And I got to get familiar. You can also, podcastdetroit.com, also got the Android app up and running. So you can download that as well and take up your phone space with all your other games and everything else. It is Sunday evening. Hopefully everybody's has the kids to bed, wind down for the evening, and listen to the Art of Relationships radio show. Make sure you check out all the shows. I mentioned this last Sunday night, too, at podcastdetroit.com. Check out all the shows. A lot of great talent. Matter of fact, individual running the board for me this evening is the boss man, the owner, Mr. the boss man, the owner, Mr. David Phillips with IT and the D. Say hello.
Hey, man. I do. So, unfortunately, Jess was here with you last week.
I know. I'm sorry.
And I know I am nothing to look at compared to Jess.
I miss Jess.
I'm quite sure you do. I miss Jess.
I know. Yeah, I know. I know you do.
Yeah, she was crashing and burning really hard, getting sick towards the end of last week.
I know.
And yeah, when I saw her
no
Thursday,
offense.
I was like, wow. You know,
you were talking about the rack show before I went on, but
and so we talked today, and she was like, I just can't. She's
no,
like, I just
know.
got these antibiotics, and I'm like, babe, don't worry about it. I got it. You sleep, rest. Yeah, get better, and then when Tuesday is, so yeah, she'll be back up and running next week.
Oh, terrific!
But no, and plus, I mean, like I like seeing what other shows are doing, and I want to see what's going on around the network, and I want to, because I mean, we're on the network. I mean,
you are the network.
Well, I mean, that's what I mean. The
Absolutely.
Network started because of our stupid show, and so I want to make sure that the other shows are either as or more stupid than we are, or less depending on how they want to be.
You gotta plug your show. You're on Monday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern, right?
Right, and we are IT and the D. Don't let the IT fool you, and don't let the D mislead you. So the last thing we talk about IT is IT. We talk about basically just news, current events, that kind of stuff,
and drinking.
And yeah, we sit around and we drink beer and we talk smack for 2 hours, and that's what we do. So,
and you have to. I might have misspoke last Sunday. I think you had over 10 million listens
in total.
Yes. In total, yeah, I couldn't believe that.
We're 2 years in. These days, we're averaging 250 to 300,000 listeners a week from all around the country, which absolutely gives me freaking migraines. But we're going to ride this sucker till the wheels fall off, and it's enabling us to do other things like bring shows like you in and kind of diversify a little bit and see what works with people. That's kind of the point.
Fantastic. And yeah, check out their show. It's a great show with him and Dave and Bob. And they have quite a few diversified guests, too. So check them out Monday nights. That's IT and the D here at podcastdetroit.com, Monday evenings, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Now, tonight, we're going to get into what the hell we're going to talk about this evening, right? Like I said, no matter what the topic of the show is, sound like a broken record, but please, you can give us a call. Again, that call-in number is 248. I just had it up on my phone. Sorry about that. 248-579-5295. You call us at the podcast Detroit studio line, 248-579-5295. You can also join us on the live chat with any questions. Like I said, your privacy and confidentiality with your name and everything, that is crucial. It's going to stay with you unless you give me permission to talk about it, okay? So we're going to talk about, I had a few requests for topics, but like I said, no matter what the topic is of the evening, you can give me a call or live chat with your questions, okay? Doesn't matter what the topic of the show is. The show is for you and to help you enhance and to, I guess, get more pleasure out of your relationship, your marriage, your build more happiness, more loving, passionate sexual connection. So topics tonight, we are going to be discussing sex, of course, right? Dating and sex. And when is it appropriate to have sex in the dating realm? Now, we talked about, I did a show a couple months ago. Hey, maybe it's not been that long ago. We talked about, booty calls and hookups and friends with benefits and everything. I did that. What the rules are, what the rules should be. And again, everybody's different. There's no set rhyme or reason, if you will, with the rules with that. Just as long as everybody's in agreement with that aspect. But we're going to talk about when you're dating, maybe you're looking, if you're dating, looking for, maybe a one-night stand, if you're into those, just a hookup or anything, that might be different. But what happens if you are in the dating realm and you're looking for a long-term relationship, right? What is the rule of thumb? When do you have sex? And some people out there that have been married for a long time, they don't even know what the hell sex is anymore. So we're going to look at, hopefully that's not true. Hopefully they'll listen to the show and be able to get more passion going, more horniness in the relationship and marriage kicking up. So we're going to look at, what's the guideline? What is the proper guideline about dating and sex? Is it, the 3-date rule? How many people say that, after a 3-date, it's okay to have sex? Is it okay to have sex on the first date if you guys are drunk enough and hitting it on? No. Don't, because you wake up, oh, shit, what did I do, right? You don't want to look at the situation that you're going to regret down the road. You do it if you're going to have sex in the dating realm, you determine when you are ready, okay? Not only when you're ready, you want a willing participant and partner, right? You don't want to force. You don't want to manipulate. You don't want to sit in a situation where you're going to end up, sort of manipulating, trying to guilt or trying to overpressure the person you want to have sex with. Not at all, right? And I have no idea why women try to force us guys into having sex with them, right? How many guys wish, right? You look at the situation, you need to hit on, do you talk about it? Do you talk about it on a first date? Well, I'm not going to have sex until I get married. And what do? Do you get married that evening right away, have sex, and then get an annulment and have a divorce? But you look at the situation. Do you go into, I'm not going to have sex, or do you even talk about it? Or is it one of those things that is just what do I want to say? You just roll with it. You just be flexible. You flow with it, and you just sort of jive with the feeling? Or do you talk about it? Okay, you know what? We're going to have sex, and we're going to talk about it now. Right? We're going to have sex in 3 days. I reference about think like a man, act like a woman type thing, the movie, and they hit on, the 90-day rule and all this aspect. I want to know, what is your situation? How would you handle that in your dating realm? Say if you really like the person, right, and you're afraid, and I think this is a pressure a lot of women might feel, and nowadays I think they're a lot more sexually free, a lot more sexually confident, which is awesome. Not all women, but a lot more than what they used to be, 15, even 10, 15, 20 years ago. And you look at the situation as, how do you handle it? Do you discuss it? Okay, I am not going to have sex with you until da-da-da-da-da, be it the 3-date rule, be it 6 months, be it a year, not until you're married. And everybody knows my philosophy. I respect all those aspects, but I do not promote abstinence. Not at all, okay? I want you sort of trying the car out right before you buy it type of thing, because the old adage, religious aspects and all that, and I'm not even going to get into that or bashing those aspects. But I want to hit you on what your philosophy is. Hey, welcome, Foo. Princess Foo, welcome. Got her, Melissa on chat. So please, I'd love to hear you. Love to hear, your questions about this and all these aspects, okay? I got to hear, I can't even not hear. Okay, Foo says, I say, if you want to date the person, don't have sex on the first date. Now, I got to hear Foo on this aspect. how many times have you been in a long-term relationship and there, this is, if you want to date the person long-term, right? You want a long-term relationship. That's what you're looking for, not just a booty call, not just a hookup. I hear this often that Fu mentioned, right? Do you have sex on the first date? Do you not? And it's always like the old scenario is, right? If the woman has sex, the guy's not going to want you, not going to want a long-term relationship. No, that's only true if you are terrible at sex, okay? No, then he's going to kick you to the curb and say, no, wait, no, I agree. Women do too, right? The guy's that bad in bed, she's going to kick you to the curb, not to put pressure on anybody. You look at the dynamics where I think 1 month is a good rule of thumb, according to Melissa. And I want to hear why 1 month is a good rule of thumb. Say, okay, we're dating. Date you once, and then I'm not going to date you again until a month so we can have sex. So that'd be our second date. Is that what you're saying, Melissa? I'd like to hear with that. Give us a call, too, on the call-in line. It is 248-579-5295. And if the phone comes up on Skype, I'm screwed. Taking a caller, I have to rig that up on my computer, not Dave's, trying to figure out what's going on. So give us a call. Melissa, you said no, huh? Give us a call, 248-579-5295, or join us on the live chat. And you look at, I've been around for a while, okay? And I know couples that have had sex on the first date. They have had sex on the second date. And they have, they're having a great relationship, and, it's lasting. They've been going good. And I know people that have waited until they got married, which I say is just crazy. Yeah, how unprofessional, right, Greg? I respect values and everything, but when we talk about sexual compatibility and those issues, and you wait till you get married and you're running into problems big time, especially if, say, one is waiting till you get married and one has had sexual experience. It becomes a huge, huge issue, okay? No, I just want to make him to really, really want me bad. That's why the buildup is so great. Fu, I knew that because we still have to have that conference about women so we can get all women siding with you and loving sex as much as you do with your husband. That's not even... God, I'm jealous about that. I say that every show you join me in the live chat. So you look at, Melissa, you joined, Fu, and you mentioned, I feel that you can know how they are and if they are worthy of you. By 1 month, you at least got into one fight. What? One fight in a month? Are you nuts, or are you provoking fights so you can have makeup sex? That's what I want to know. If that's your point, Melissa, if you want, that's your first sexual experience with a new partner, right? You get in a fight and you have mad, passionate makeup sex, right? Is that what I want to know? That hit that on what that Dave.
That's the bar
I know,
awfully high,
doesn't it? That puts a hell of a Dave. Sorry, that puts a hell of a lot of pressure on me. Like, oh God, now we got to have makeup sex. What if I suck, or you're all hot and horny and all this, and maybe you haven't had sex in a while, and the guy frickin' blows it too quick, and now you're like, oh God, now I waited this time and I blew it too quick. Now what do I do? Right? You hang your head in shame and walk away. And everybody, if you're religious, waiting till you're married is good, but what if they are bad? Melissa, I agree, and I think you went on what I said. I'm not a firm advocate by any means about abstinence, waiting until you get married, because sexual compatibility issues, maybe likes, dislikes, you might go into a situation thinking you want that, we're talking about we want whips and chains, dominatrix and all this stuff, and we're going to do this, but we're going to wait now. So you get in that one partner changes. It's a huge, very, very difficult issue to bring up in a relationship after the fact, okay? And then after the fact, it's almost like you're screwed, and it's not in a good way at all. Dave, what's your take on dating? And actually, our mutual friend Karen is the one that posed this question. What is the rule with dating and sex? How long should you wait? Is it the 3-date rule? Is it? And this is one thing that
I don't believe in rules.
I don't either. I know. I agree, Dave. That's basically what I was telling Karen. I threw a note out to Karen. What happens if frickin' my animal magnetism couldn't wear off? First date, had a drink or two, and you just wanted me so bad. Are you going to tell me what? What would you do?
It's right when it's right, and it's one of those like you can't. Everybody gets carried away in the heat of the moment and all that kind of nonsense. But I mean, when it's the right thing. If you're doing it just for the sake of doing it, or
that's almost like pity sex, man. That's pathetic.
It happens though.
I know. You are married, you said, right? Speaking of pity sex. No,
exactly. Yeah. Coming up on 11 years. Yeah.
Oh, congrats.
But no, I mean, it's I've always said there are two things in this world, in today's world, that would scare the ever living hell out of me if I had to deal with them, and one is high school, and the other is dating.
Yes.
Because it is. I mean, it's a completely different world. I mean, you've got social media, you've got 37 bajillion different apps. You've got all this stuff going on. You've got the Ashley Madison hacks and all that other nonsense going on. It's a different world than it almost seems like people don't really date anymore. It's let's hang out. Let's there's a group thing going on. There's whatever, and
that's been a big thing with teenagers, even college students nowadays. It's been
even
huge.
Our age. It's I'm getting together with a group of friends. Why don't you come hang out?
Aren't those called orgies?
Well, no, because that's that's the sad part is they're using those as like a first date kind of thing.
I know that,
and that's a lot of pressure on the other person.
It's a lot of pressure, absolutely. And you look at thanks for her. No, I appreciate your insights big time, Dave. That you look at, there's a lot of pressure built up with all that. Do you just go with the flow? And I think a lot of the media, and you get in shows, Sons of Anarchy, Walking Dead, and I know Dave and the Rat Crew before me were talking about Walking Dead. All these TV shows,
Fear the Walking Dead is on right now. Am I watching?
You know what? That's why Karen can't. Oh, that's why she can't be here tonight. Yeah. That's what she said. I got my show. I can tape it, though. So we'll have to have her on here, too. So she never got back with me what show, so I'm assuming with that. I apologize, Dave.
Yeah, that's what premiere. Yeah, so it's the prequel to The Walking Dead.
Oh.
That starts tonight.
No, Dave, I'm so sorry. If you want to check out, walk that. You got a TV in the other room, so we'll hit on that.
I got TiVo. I'm good.
Oh, sweet. Okay, cool. Yeah, bypass all the commercials. So you look at, I agree with Dave, too. I don't think there's any rules. If you're ready, you're ready, whatever. The situation is, the rule of thumb, a lot of people say if you, oh, man, I'm picking a hair out of the mic or something. But you look at, it's not mine. I have no hair. You look at.
It's any consolation, there was a really cute girl sitting there.
Yeah, I know. So, it's Amy, right? It's Amy, I think, if I.
Yes.
I think if I got that right. You look at situation, the dating rule. Okay, I'm not going to have sex. It's almost like you're almost pre-planning I think sex is something that may be spontaneous. Okay, we are going to wait 3 months till we have sex, and you mark off the calendar. Okay, it's 3 months. Now we're going to have sex. It's almost like you build up the pressure. It's almost like you're going in for an interview instead of letting things just happen and just flow with it. Whatever comes naturally, just let it happen. Like I said, at the beginning of the show, I don't want anyone to feel pressured into sex. I don't want anybody to beg or plead or feel guilted into sex. If you do, you need to kick that person to the curb. And I'm sick of women guilting us men into sex, into pleasing them. It's just I'm getting sick of being used like a piece of meat.
Said no guy ever. Wait, what?
Nah. Hey, wait a minute. This is my show, damn it. Yeah, no. When I teach human sexuality, I talk about that. I'm so sick of women using us like pieces of ass. I got a heart. So you look at it, I agree. I don't think you can go into too much of a pre-planning phase. I think, even women that go in the pre-planning phases, they might be the ones that are looking to get knocked up and have a baby daddy, and then you're in trouble, dude. Then you are in
I'm not going to lie. There are a few friends of mine over the past couple of years that have, I'm going to say, surprisingly became pregnant.
Yes. Oh, I was on the pill.
And I'm going to go with none of them were actually really surprised that they became pregnant.
I know that.
The only person in that relationship that was surprised they got pregnant was the guy.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. That's a big surprise. Cha-ching, cha-ching, right? Yeah. Find out the kid ain't yours. Oh, anyway. You look at situation. It's funny when I talk to teenage guys, even young, in their young 20s, or there shouldn't be any age, but I tell guys, and this might be bias on my part, and I'm not prejudiced against women at all. I love women, and as people know, I'm 200% lesbian. So I love women, and I want people to be smart. And I tell these teenage boys, late teens, whatever, and early 20s, do not ever accept a condom from a woman, because there could be a little pinhole or two in that condom. It's scary, whatever, and you get, there's guys out there that want to trap women and get them pregnant too. That's where you need to double your protection up, ladies, if you can, if you're on the pill. And I know some women, I talked about this often, that some women, they can't use the pill because, it might cause bleeding in you. It might cause blood clots. So,
allergic reactions.
Yeah, absolutely. So a lot of women can't do that. And I mentioned that a couple shows. I'm not a huge fan. I never ever advocate the depot shot by any means. And I talked about those reasons at a show before. Fu, you mentioned you love to beg, and you mentioned that Chip Fu. I am sure he feels like a piece of meat, and I'm sure he loves that. Dave, have you ever felt like a piece of meat?
Yeah, and I mean, it's actually one of the reasons why my last serious relationship when I was living down in D.C. broke up before I moved out here.
Really?
No, great story. So
great story. I got to hear this.
So the girl I was dating, she was the general manager at a hotel chain. Ooh. And she came home one day and she said, I am sick and tired of going to my job. I want to do something else, and I don't want to do this anymore. And I was like, all right, what do you want to do? She's like, well, you've always talked about how much fun you had as a bartender. And I was like, all right, you know what? More power to you. Find yourself, do your thing.
Right.
So she took one of those little bartending classes and then got a job at the lesbian bar that was 4 blocks away from the house. And everything was all fine and dandy. I have a good number of stories that start with Dear Penthouse Forum.
Yes,
I never thought it would happen to me.
Sweet.
But then it got weird to the point where she was actually more into watching me with other girls than she was being with me. And I know that sounds like every guy's great fantasy, but it was like too weird to deal with. And so that was when we broke up.
I agree. And there's some guys that, you know what? I mentioned this before. A lot of guys think I'm full of crap. They think I'm crazy and stupid. I got offered threesomes 5 times over the years. And I'm talking 5 different women. And I turned them all down. Isn't that nuts? Yeah, Dave's looking at me. Dave, that's the expression. That's the expression I get from all guys. And I tell guys, it's weird. And, 3 of them were when I was single, and 2 of them were in a long-term relationship. And they were the ones that initiated it. And, they know, I was doing this at the time. They knew what I was doing, the counseling and all this stuff with relationships, sex, and all this stuff. Greg, I want to do this. Oh my God, I'd love to do this for you. And it's weird. I don't know if it's that damn frickin' Catholic frickin' upbringing I had, the guilt and shame, which I kicked to the curb a long time ago. And maybe it was that little in the back of the head. You got the devil on one shoulder, the angel on the other. And I'm like, man, do I regret it now? Oh, shit. Let me get back to you if I regret that or not. And I look at the situation. I'm more, one-on-one and all this stuff. And there was the other topic, a couple topics today of this discussion that, the dating realm with sex and all that was about swingers. And I'm not going to mention any names, but it was a mutual friend of Dave and mine's that wanted me to talk about swingers too coming up. And, in the lifestyle and rules and boundaries and that, he wanted to go the premise. It might not always be a bad thing. And people know, I've been doing the show for a while. I work with swingers, bisexual, couples that are, in open relationships. They're not swingers, but they can go.
So you have swingers, and then you have polyamorous couples that are just in open relationships.
Triad, absolutely. And I love my job. And I got stories to tell left and right. Oh my God! But I keep names out of it and all this stuff, confidentiality. I need to because I don't want to get sued. So you look at I get sued. I'm broke. They have to go after, so it don't matter. They have to go after my malpractice insurance. So going back onto, I won't step away. We'll get into the swinger aspect in a bit. You look at what is there a rule that you follow? Is it different for guys in the dating realm before you have sex? Believe it or not, most women think that guys have, they can have sex on the first date. They don't care. There's a lot of guys out there, they want to wait too, believe it or not. Freaking stupid fools. I don't get it, but no. No, but guys, they have these, values and all that. I see a lot of guys, believe it or not, it's almost like there is a role reversal going out where guys are almost waiting, especially if they want a long-term relationship. They want to wait a little bit before, having sex. And I'm like, dude, what? And these women are ready to go. It could be first date, second date, the 3-date rule, whatever, your rule applies. And I agree with Dave. There are no rules. The rules have to come from you, each individual. And of course, your sex partner, your lover, potential husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever, they have to apply in how they gel together. And I agree, it's not one thing that you go and pre-plan. Okay, we're going to wait for this, whatever. And, how many women out there you look at, and I tell guys all the time, you're on a first date, or you meet somebody at, a bar, wherever. Ashley Madison's, you meet him on Tinder, whatever, adult friend finder, wherever, you look at situation to where I think women know within 5 minutes if they are going to bang that guy or not. Now, the guy...
Isn't there a stat out there that says it's something like in the first... it was some stupid number, like 48 seconds.
Yeah, yeah. I hear, I go in, 5 to 7 minutes after the nerves and stuff settle off. It's, most women know. Now, I'm not saying it's going to happen that night, but they know if they want to bang that guy within 5 to 7 minutes, and it's usually closer to the 5-minute mark. Guys, you know what? Depending what you look like, we know within maybe 2 seconds. She's hot. Okay, I want to bang her. She don't even have to open her mouth. No. And like I said, a woman could be hot, could be, very attractive, whatever, very sexy in all this aspect. And I said, if she is a bitch, if she is a, rude person, very, freaking arrogant person, I don't care how hot she is going to get kicked out in the morning. You look at the avenue, you get kicked out in the morning. How many people caught that, right? No. Isn't that normally the guy who knows? No, Melissa. Well, the guy might know too, but I'm talking women because everyone assumes, men are willing to go. They can, have sex in, whatever, the first date, they don't care. But I'm telling you, a lot of guys now that I work with in my office, students and all this, that guys are sort of stepping away from that. They might be waiting more than the women anticipates that they're going to wait, and it's weird, whatever. But
how much of that is from a judgmental perspective? Like,
meaning,
if she was that easy for me to get in bed, how easy has she been for other guys to get into bed, and how easy would she be for other guys to get in bed in the future?
Why would that matter? No, I agree, but a lot of it, they're thinking that, and they're looking at, and I think guys that have that premise, and I agree they're out there, but I think guys that have that premise, it's all about their ego, their self-esteem, and all that aspect.
Oh, absolutely.
It's insecurities, big time. There's some guys that do it because they wanna get to know that woman better, and it might have something to do with the insecurities and all that. But some, they're looking at almost the quality of connection as well. And they can go out and have a one-night stand, no big deal. But when guys are looking for like a long-term relationship, a connection, they're waiting more. Believe it or not, yeah, there are guys out there. Have I ever had one-night stands or had sex on the first date? no comment. You look, you boy. You look at. You guys can private message me after the show, whatever. Text me. You look at the dynamics. There are no rules. You set the rules with you. Your partner sets the rules, and I think you just flow. When you know it's ready, after 1, 2, 3, 4 tequila the floor, then bad liar. Who's a bad liar? Melissa, you come. What am I lying about? You look at the situation where you set the parameters, whatever. I don't think it's something that you can pre-plan whatsoever. You go into it, you flow. If it feels good, then you do it. There shouldn't be any shame in that at all. And going back to Dave's comment about guys, I'm a liar. What the hell am I lying about, Melissa? People can't see on the chat unless you're there. Oh, one night. What about the one night stand? You lost me with the one night stand? I didn't answer that. So how can I be a liar? You look at the aspect, and I think guys, they're waiting for a quality of connection. I'm seeing that more and more, which is really odd and unusual. But I've been seeing that probably, I'm going to say last 2 years, 2 to 3 years more than I've ever seen it, where guys might, they might be waiting more of a commitment and all this stuff. And women are more ready to go, sexually. They're more sexually confident, more sexually expressive, which is awesome. I love it. So it's a sort of a cool dynamic that I'm seeing going on over the last couple years, whatever. And I agree with Dave. They're waiting I think it's a insecurity aspect where, guys are waiting. Okay, if she's going to sleep with me on the first night, maybe I don't want her because, the old stereotype, she's a slut, she's this, she's whatever. And maybe they're worried about their own self-esteem. Maybe they're trying to protect themselves emotionally because if they do that, then I have to worry more about, I hear this all the time. Well, if she's going to sleep with you on the first night or the guy's going to sleep with you on the first night, they're more apt to cheat. They're more apt to run around. They're more, you know what, to be honest with you, that is not true. Why do you think women are more sexually confident than before? Good question, Melissa. What's this have to do with on the first date sexual contact? But as you know, I said it doesn't matter what the topic of the show is. You can always ask questions. I think women are more, I think they're taught more now. I think it's part of the media, and I think they're able to say, they can enjoy sex, that they can be sexual. It's almost like society's giving them more permission to be sexual, to enjoy sex, to like sex, and to be okay with it. And I'm not talking when we throw body image aspects and insecurities. That's different. I think that cuts across both men, women of all ages. But I think women, I tell people now, women in their 30s now are where women were in their 40s maybe 20 years ago, maybe 10 years ago. And I see women in their early 20s, they are where women were in their mid-30s 10, 15 years ago. They are more, I think it's okay that they can like sex more, and they're okay with it. They don't have the taboos. I'm not saying, I'm talking a lot. I'm not talking every woman by any means. It all depends. But I'm seeing a lot more women, they're enjoying sex more, and there's nothing wrong with that. They don't have the predetermined, I'm a slut, I'm a hoe, I'm all this stuff, and it's okay, I like sex, and I determine that. Nobody else does. Society doesn't. Nobody else. So that's why I say I think they're more sexually confident, and they're more, comfortable with their sexual expression. And I'm not saying, they're also able to say, no, I don't want sex. They're guarding against the pressure aspect. So I think women are they're a lot more comfortable, more confident sexually than they ever have been. Hopefully that answered your question. And you look at, I was going to ask Dave that question, but he's married, so that don't count. You look at the situation where, I get it, women, students, when I teach, college classes, students, clients, just out in the social realm, that they're confident. They're more okay with their sexuality. And it's so cool to see. And I think that's where maybe the 3-date rule or whatever rules, they go out the window, that they're okay. It doesn't mean I want to do this and I'm okay with myself. It doesn't mean I'm a slut, I'm a hoe, all this. Those stereotypes, they still exist, sadly, but they're dwindling. They're dwindling down what that is, that you like sex and there's nothing wrong with that. And I'm all for that. You protect yourself, of course, in those aspects. And if you want a long-term relationship, the guy should be into you or want to know more about you than just sex. Okay, say you wait 6 months, you really like the person, maybe falling in love at that point. Would I say you never fall in love with anyone you don't have sex with? But you, no. Is that biased, Dave?
Well, no, because worst case, so let's say you hold off for 6 months,
where I'm
a
going.
year, or whatever else, and
where I'm going.
Finally, get in bed, and it sucks.
It's like the pity sex that we talked about.
Or it just sucks.
Yeah,
you're not compatible.
No,
yeah. And that matters a lot.
Huge. And people ask me, Greg, what part of sexuality do you think is part of a relationship or marriage? And I said it all depends on the individual. I think for me personally, it's a huge component. But I had couples, like I said, I have couples that have sex once a year, and they're both okay with that. So who am I? I'm not one. I've never, ever said you should have sex this many times a year. It's up to the individual couples and all that stuff. If I'm having sex once a year, that ain't going to happen. I'm going to be out. So I agree. Yeah, that ain't going to frickin' happen.
Ron White had a great shtick.
Yeah, I got to hear this.
His whole thing was, women try to punish you by withholding sex. And he's like,
yes,
you can't just not sleep with me because I'll go out and screw somebody else. I've seen me do it.
I like that, Dave. That's true. And there's some adage, and this has been going around for a while, the big thing. And women will tell other women, if you don't give your guy sex, he might find it somewhere else. And I hate to say it, but, is that a right? My philosophy is you get out of that relationship before you wander off. And I know dynamics, financial, kids, and all that aspect. And I did, numerous shows on affairs and, why they happen. And I cover this in the book that's coming out, too, a little bit. I don't go too much detail about affairs. I touch on it briefly and towards the end of the book about maybe why they happen, trying to build up the repair and trying to move on, or more or less trying to prevent them. But you look at the aspect, since 6 months, Melissa mentioned 6 months, I feel like the guy would be gone. I don't know any guy that would wait that long. I think that is too long. So, Melissa, you're saying you'd have sex in a month. I think you said earlier, right? 6 months. Would I wait 6 months? Oh, yeah, no problem. I wouldn't have any problem waiting 6 months to, withholding sex for 6 months with you. That doesn't mean I might be not having sex with somebody. Oops. Did I just say that?
I was like Ron White? There better be a huge qualifier coming.
I know.
I'm calling shenanigans.
I know. Yeah. Yeah. Have I ever waited 6 months? You know what? When I was, 16. Yeah, I'm trying to think last time I waited 6 months. Oh, my God. You know what? The way I am, I don't think a woman would wait 6 months anyways. She wouldn't be able to. No, Dave's like, bullshit. No, with my animal magnetism, my charm, my wit, my all 5'6" of me and bald head and no.
No, but I mean, honestly,
yeah.
And I think some of it comes down to, age group and demographic. I mean, as you hit your 30s and 40s, dude, we all have baggage.
Do you think that changed?
Well, no, we all have baggage.
Yes, we do.
And so we've all been burned before once or twice. And I've always said every woman out there on the planet has a story that starts off with that effing dick, male name. Just like every guy on the planet has a story that effing bitch, female name.
Absolutely.
And so, I mean, as you get, and it depends on where you are in the dating scene. I mean, if the wounds are still fresh, yeah, well, maybe you're looking for a one-night stand to cleanse, or maybe that's the furthest thing from your mind because you don't want to get that close to somebody.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, I think that dynamic changes over time.
There's so many units. I agree, Dave. Huge, and it depends what your experience.
It's like an episode of Numbers with the whiteboard.
It is. And so many. You hear so many people, and that's why I talk about people that have been following the show for a long time. They know I'm not a textbook, what they call, a textbook therapist, textbook counselor. Not by any means. I'm very genuine, very real. And I think somebody tried to put a number on, like Dave said, on the whiteboard. They put a number on everything. You should wait this long. You should do this. You know what? That's that's a bunch of bullshit, because I think there's so many variables, so many life occurrences. If a woman, you have to look at, and if you're a guy dating a woman, maybe she was in an abusive relationship, emotionally, physically abusive, and she might take a little longer, before she is willing to have sex with you. And it all depends on the connection and all this stuff and where you're at with yourself. I think a lot of it has to do with your self-confidence, your self-awareness too, and look at what's at stake. And a lot of people, you can't get close to somebody without opening up, right? And you can't, or I should say, you can't expect someone to get close to you without you opening up as well. So it's a mutual aspect in working with, couples all the time about being vulnerable. But the question is, with sex, is it just physical, is it emotional, or is it a combination of both? If it's done right, it should be both, right? No, I don't know. Yeah. Oh, yeah, baby. So you look at Fu, I can't imagine not having sex for 6 months. I agree, Fu. I don't think I can imagine you waiting 2 days for sex. Like I said, we are going to do that woman's workshop and promote that. Women, you need to want sex every single freaking day. Would you be okay with that, Dave, or would you want a day to reminisce and...
Okay. Every single day
I
sounds
put 'em on the
like
spot.
an awesome concept.
But you get so tired. Oh.
Dude.
Yeah.
Dude, even when you're in the gym working out, you have break days.
Yes.
Because there's only so much that muscles can do before they go, F you, we're out.
Yes. How old are you again? No, isn't that what they make Cialis and Viagra? No. You look at the situation. Yeah. Oh my God. I can't have sex, man, because I pulled a hamstring last night. When we get older, oh my God, I got a Charlie horse. We can't, oh my God, I can't. You're gonna have to be on top today because I can't frickin' move from last night. You look at all those aspects. And, every other day I want to be able to walk. Yeah, I know, Fu. You mentioned that before. You do want to be able to walk. And I'm sure you paralyzed Chip, Fu, your hubby, too, in the dynamics about that, okay? How are you with taking a breather, Dave?
We're all queued up and ready to go whenever you are.
Sweet. Okay, why don't we take a breather? This is the Art of Relationships radio show coming live from Podcast Detroit.
This show is broadcasting live from Detroit Sound Studios above Activate Gaming and is part of the Podcast Detroit Network. Visit www.podcastdetroit.com for more information.
If you're looking for that unique, cool fashion statement, check out Shoes by Shay on Facebook. She has hand-painted, hand-designed canvas shoes for you, your loved one. It's an inspirational piece unique to your own taste. Check out Shoes by Shay on Facebook. Again, that's Shoes by Shay on Facebook.
Daddy, who your daddy? Your daddy. Come on, big girl. Tell me who your daddy.
I got the right time, come on. Who's your daddy? Oh. Talk to me, mama. I think I know just what you want, but I still don't know your daddy like me. Are you one of peace of mind. Living on the other side of the line. Well, come on, baby, well, let's be funky. I got the right time, come on. Who's your daddy? Talk to me, mama. I think I know just what you want, but I still don't know who your daddy might be.
Hey, welcome back to the Art of Relationships radio show here at podcastdetroit.com. Here, helping me out running the board is the boss man, Mr. Dave Phillips here, the boss man.
I feel like the old
I know,
the old
you
80s
like
wrestler.
that? I know, the 80s wrestler, the boss man. There we go, Mr. Dave Phillips. Make sure you check out his show, IT and the D, Monday evenings, 9 p.m. Eastern time at podcast. And also, he got an awesome app. I was able to try that out. God, when was it? When did you post that?
Just Saturday it went live. For Android, yep.
Maybe that's when it was. I was running down to the office or something in Detroit, and I was listening to the podcast or listening to shows and stuff on the app, and it's awesome. It's podcast.com on Android. The Apple one won't be out probably for a little bit yet. But
yeah, they're a little slower.
Yeah, they are. They're usually a couple weeks behind. That's my experience with them. But check it out. It's an awesome app, Podcast Detroit on the Android Google Play Store. And like I said, tune in to other shows too. Tune in Dave's show Monday night at 9, IT and the D. And there's a lot of awesome shows and a lot of great people here at Podcast Detroit. I am very, very happy and excited to be a part of the family now. So it's a great move on my end. Very, very happy and excited with it. If I just stay awake now. No. My 5-hour energy drink hour before I got here freaking is not kicking in.
Well, hey, the marketing manager from Red Bull.
I noticed that. Oh, yeah. I don't. That stuff will kill you, man.
Popped in and dropped off 4 cases, I think it was.
I saw that. Oh, yeah, Red Bull. We have to do a plug for Red Bull then. And Falling Down Beer Company, too, for providing our nutritional drinks.
Bread in a cup.
For the show. Anyways, we're talking about sex and what the dating rule is, and I think it's almost been a consensus that there are no rules. You do what is best, for you. When it feels right, I don't think, like I said, if you go predetermined what your plan is, whatever, you're going to be disappointed for one, or it might chase some people off. You go with the flow and you feel what is right for you, and that's men, women. You always women always get told, right? Oh, you don't want to sleep with a guy in the first date, third date, whatever. You want to make sure he likes you and all this stuff, right? And we talked right before the break. You wait 6 months, a year, then you have sex and you find out that he sucks in bed. And I'm not talking sucks in a good way. I'm talking about sucks in a bad way. And you look at the dynamics. What do? You just wasted 6 months, right? What do you do? Trust is everything, Foo. I agree completely. It's one of those things. Everyone says you need to, with the dating realm, excuse me, that people look at, you need to be friends first. And Foo, you've been listening for a long time. You and Chip Foo and, what the heck happened to Rhonda? Rhonda might have night classes going on. We haven't seen her in a few weeks, so she might have classes on not on Sunday night, but maybe when I was doing Wednesday night too. I haven't heard of Rhonda, so hopefully everything's okay with her. You look at, trust is everything, and the old scenario is, you need to be friends first, before all this stuff. I think that's a crock of crap, because I think if the chemistry isn't there at the beginning, it's going to be very, very rare. It's going to be there down the road. I think it can happen, but I think that is very, very rare. I think, oh my God, Rhonda, welcome. Where the heck you been hiding? Dave's like, there you are. I was talking about you. And I was like, woo, perfect timing. You had your grandson. Okay. Well, plug his ears. Okay. Unless I don't want him to, I always say, put the kids to bed. You will plug, talking about sex, orgasms, frickin' vagina pleasing and anal pleasing and all this stuff. You need to, put the kids, block their ears, put cottons in them, turn off the radio.
Or
Not this show.
Or at least pop in the earbuds.
Yeah, pop in the earbud. Yeah, there you go. The tech guru with Dave here, and I'm like, I'm all out of it. Oh, he just went home tonight. Hopefully he's doing okay. Rhonda, I know he's your world big time. You look at, there's no rule, whatever. The dating realm, like I said. getting back to Fu's statement a little bit, you need trust. And I said, chemistry, I think, is important. I think it's either there or it's not there. Yes, it is true. People have been friends for a year, 2 years, whatever. Then they start dating and chemistry is there. Yes, and I mentioned this on numerous shows. I think that is not the rule. I think that is the huge exception. I think if the chemistry is not there, it's going to be very, very difficult and rare that it's not there. So what do? Do you have sex and then build up trust and build up the relationship? What do you do? If you have the 3-date rule, how much trust is there? If you have sex, say on the first date, second date, do you have that trust build up, or don't you care, or do you just go with your gut instincts? And I'm not talking your gut instincts are in your vagina or are in your genitals. Do you go with your gut instinct? What do you do, Dave?
Well, and let's be honest, some people have horrible instincts.
Yes, they do. And when I was younger, I used to love all them too. No,
right? No. Exactly. And it is. It is. And I think it's again one of those things that changes over time.
Yes.
Your moral compass shifts a little bit,
yes, it does.
As you're trying to figure out what it is that you're looking for, what it is that you want. And again, it just keeps coming back to,
boy, you're being politically correct.
No, it's just it keeps coming back to there are no rules.
Are you saying your morals change when you get older, as in they go down the toilet more?
No, well, depending on the person, yes.
Yeah, I agree.
And it's but it's what you're looking for changes over time.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Single
in your early 20s is a lot different than single in your early 30s versus single in your early 40s.
Absolutely.
It's a different ballgame.
I agree. And what you're looking for, it is different. Like I mentioned before, the highest STD, STI rates are in nursing homes. Believe it or not. So that actually is a fact. So, are they just looking for booty calls, hook up? Maybe they just want sex, thinking they're not going to have that many opportunities left before they croak. I don't know.
I really don't know how to digest that factoid. I got to be honest with you.
You don't want to think of grandpa getting it on? No. Rhonda, I know, Rhonda, you love sex too. You and Fu are the ultimate philosophies of what women should be sexually. I always went with my gut. I think that if it feels right, you do it. And I think that's the consensus from a lot of people, not just, men, women, whatever. I think you go with if it feels right, you do it. And sometimes, maybe our gut is wrong and we're just going with, why wait and play games? You go, Rhonda. We need food to jump in on that. And I think she would agree with you. I agree. You don't play games. If you want it, you go and then see what happens, right? Do you protect yourself, condoms and all that stuff, because you don't want to come around and, all of a sudden you got frickin' herpes around your lips or anything like that. And that's a dangerous aspect, too. Oh, here we go. The first time you have sex with the new partner, do you have oral sex? Ooh.
Gonna go with
yes. I demand it. Damn it!
Wouldn't you?
I demand it. Right. The first time you have sex with somebody on the first date, would you?
Well, they
can give me oral sex.
First time, you're pretty much pulling out all the stops, aren't you? That's.
I got to keep my.
That's your audition.
Yeah, I know. That's that's right. Your audition, your interview. Interview. Damn straight.
Yeah, it's Sam Kinison 101.
Yeah.
You make her come twice before she's even sure you have a dick.
Absolutely. Yes, I agree. And everybody knows I promote that all the way, right? As you know what? You get the lady off first. Maybe second, too, as Dave mentioned. Not right away. You need to get to know them first. Are you talking, Melissa, about oral sex? Are you saying you waited a month? You're saying you wait a month for sex with a new partner or whatever situation. How long would you wait then before you perform oral sex on somebody? And you look at that dynamic. Am I guilty of that? Yeah, maybe. You wait longer. I want to, Melissa, much longer would you wait before oral sex? Would you wait 6 months? Would you wait 3 months? Would you wait, what would you do? You know what? Am I going to wait 6 months before one performs oral sex on me? I would say we're not sexually compatible. Call me prude. I'll call you a prude. Okay. I've been talking to him for a while, and it's right. I go for there. Same time, 1 month. So you're saying you have sex, and then you wait 2 months before you have oral sex, right? I wouldn't give a stranger head. Well, I agree. I wouldn't give a stranger head either, Rhonda, because I'm not gay. No, you look at the dynamics. Is there, a rule of thumb? You do what you feel is right, and I think, I promote that. I'm not one that says you should wait 6 months, you should wait a year. I'm definitely not one that says, you wait before you get married and all this stuff. And I don't care. I'm not, I'm not religious, spiritual. I respect everybody's religious beliefs. That doesn't mean I follow them. But I look at, what is the best situation for most couples, not all couples, but most. 1 month for anything physical besides hand jobs. Oh, frickin', and Dave stepped away. I got to come back. Hand jobs. Is that just a frickin' tease? I want to, what, hand job? Yeah, you're boring me. I want you to blow me, not just give me a hand job. 1 month for anything physical besides. Are you saying you would give hand jobs on the first night now, Melissa? Ooh, I got to hear this. Or is that just a tease? What happens if awesome, what happens if you suck in bed and not good enough? I'm going to fuck them and I'm going to blow them. Foo, that is so freaking hot. No, what? I got to hear this. What? A hand job, is that just a tease? It might be. Okay. The dating realm, like I said, the consensus, I think you go with the flow. You do what you feel is right. You go with your gut instinct. Sometimes it's wrong, whatever. A lot of people are afraid. And guys, too. We're going to have sex, and then, she's going to, maybe I'm not good enough. Maybe she's going, and I'm dealing with couples now that they're going in between a couple different people. And Rhonda, I love foods, mine too, as well as yours too, Rhonda. You look at the situation to where, what do you do what's right for you. And a lot of people, it's that mind game that you battle. Okay, if I don't have sex, he or she's going to leave. If I do have sex, they could be going off with somebody else and having sex with them. You do what you feel is right for you. And I think there's so many mind games that go on. And Dave hit it, very acutely earlier about, as you get older, I think it changes, the way you view life, the way you view relationships and sex. You're more comfortably in your own skin with your body, and you look at dynamics. You do what is best for you. And I love the situation, and I hear this all the time, guys, guys need to, buy the drink, ask the woman out first, buy dinner, and never have the woman expect to pay. I'm a traditional woman, and I ask, you believe in premarital sex? Oh, yes, I do. And I'm like, don't tell me you're a frickin' traditional woman or old-fashioned woman then. You pick and choose when you are, and you don't play that. That's a game you play. Okay. Melissa, I want to hear this. I have an off-the-wall question. This is the place for it at the Art of Relationships radio show, coming live from Podcast Detroit. What do you do if you and your boyfriend don't agree on what time you have to put your kids to bed at night? The kids are 7, 8, and 9. My boyfriend wants to put his boys to bed at 11 p.m. Are you kidding me? They're 7, 8, 9 years old, and you want to put the kids to bed at 11 p.m.? And I want them to go to bed earlier. So he started putting them to bed at 10:30, but he is not sticking with it. What do I do? He never spends alone time with me. This is a battle. I'm assuming if your boyfriend has 3 kids, I'm assuming there's a lot of guilt, and he is letting the kids run his life, and he is the adult. He's the dad. He's not the kid's best friend. My situation, if he doesn't, well, you know what? That's a good point, Foo. I wasn't even during the summer. Foo, I'm going to jump on. I know, Foo, you said even during the summer, but if they're 7, 8, and 9, I think once in a while staying up, on the weekend, staying up is okay. But you have to have a life. And if he is, sort of ruling that, the 7, 8, 9-year-old, and they're staying up all the time, okay, Melissa, if they're that's ridiculous. Even if it's the summer, once in a while I can see, during the summer, or you have a thing, you're taking them to a movie, or maybe frickin' a Sesame Street, or 7, 8, 9-year-old, whatever are going on. 2 are his and 1 is mine. And if that situation, if your boyfriend in this situation is looking at, the kids are 7, 8, and 9. And he wants to keep them up until 11 o'clock most of the time, that's crazy, because kids need at least 9, at that age, 7, 8, 9, they need at least 9 hours of sleep. Every kid's different. Every kid's different as far as how much sleep they need, but on average at those ages. And I agree, Fu, and I was just getting to that. He needs to make you feel important, and needs to make it crucial to the element that, there's time for you and that you're important. Because what happens, not only in this situation, there's a lot of guilt, if he's a single dad and all this situation. And Melissa, I'm assuming that this has nothing to do with you. It might be for a friend of yours or whatever, which is fine. But you look at the situation to where, he needs to make you feel important. And this is the same situation with step-family dynamics. It's a huge, huge difference, with kids and the balancing. And I tell people, there has to be a balance with step-family dynamics, as this would be the case, that the kids are going to come first. I hate to tell you that in step-family dynamics. However, you have to come first, too, in this situation. It's a balance. The kids don't come first all the time, or you're going to be unhappy and walk. In a lot of situations, they get into step-family dynamics where there's kids involved, whatever, and all of a sudden, the kids are making the rules. The kids are, because you feel guilty. People know, I'm a hypocrite. I've been divorced a while, and with my daughter, growing up when she was young and stuff, you feel guilty. You feel, not to mention, freaking daughters wrap their daddies around their fingers real quick. And, you got to pull away from that and look at what's good for the relationship, and there has to be a balance. Keeping the kids up that late, I think it's crazy. I think it's crazy. And there has to be boundaries, and kids need structure. I'm all about being flexible and all this stuff, but with sleeping and rules and boundaries, there has to be, oh my God, they go to bed at 11 and they're up at the ass crack of dawn too. Holy crap. Unless they have ADHD, have you heard of Benadryl? No. No. If they have ADHD or hyperactivity with the aspect, you definitely don't want to give them Benadryl, because Benadryl acts like speed with kids with the hyperactivity. They'll be bouncing off the walls even more. No, he needs to set boundaries for the kids, or maybe that situation needs to be addressed. And maybe that's not the right relationship for you. And I know you mentioned that one is his, one is yours, and I'm assuming this is a friend of yours, Melissa, and not actually you. Melatonin, yeah, I know melatonin can work too with kids, and I always say you got to give melatonin at least about an hour before they go to bed, whatever. But this is all about boundaries and the kids manipulating dad, and dad not being a dad and being the hierarchy, and not being a kid's friend and feeling guilty and fighting through all that aspect. He needs to set boundaries, and the kids on a regular basis, staying up till 11 o'clock at night, 7, 8, 9 years old, oh boy. You need that time, big time together, and he needs to show you that. Or if you're happy with that and you're okay with that situation, peace to you. I wish you the best of luck, but you might have to set parameters to where I tell people ultimatums don't work, not at all. But you give yourself ultimatums. And Melissa, I know Rhonda, Fu, people that are not regulars that aren't in chat this evening had heard me say, you know what? You give yourself an ultimatum. You can tell him, you know what? You can do whatever you want. You can have your kids stay up. You can have, whatever you want. You can do that, but I'm not going to tolerate it, okay? the girl wanted later, like 11:30. My boyfriend is doing 10:30, but I wanted 10, and he is still. I was thinking like frickin' 9:30. That's anyways. But you have a situation. You have a situation to where he needs to be the dad, not the friend of the kids, because it sounds like that's what the hell is going on. And he has to set parameters, and there has to be adult time. And I get it. Is 10 p.m. a good compromise, Melissa? That's you, man. I tell people all. I get this. Greg, should we stay married? Should we stay together? Should we get divorced? This is your decision to make, and I don't get.
Can you sign this liability waiver before I answer that?
I know. Exactly, Dave. You're absolutely right. And you look at it. It's a starting point. I need. If you ease into something, especially with kids, you know what? You're in for a huge rude awakening, because when you ease into it, you need to rip that Band-Aid, man, or maybe with the kids, you need to rip that duct tape you have off of them, and you need to take that and do it now. There's no easing into it. I'm all about easing into getting kids ready for the school year, going to bed early and setting that routine, for the school year. That's for their health. They need that sleep. They need that standardization, and I'm, like I said, I'm not traditional. I'm very flexible. When it comes to kids, they need those patterns set in. They need those behaviors set in. It's healthy from them, huge. And if you are on two different divides of that, give yourself an ultimatum and say, you know what, you can do whatever you want with the kids, whatever, but that doesn't mean I'm going to be here. This is important to me. I tell people, you never sell yourself out. And you look at what is at stake in that situation. It's not an easy situation, and you're going to have people left and right tell you to do this, do that. I'm going to throw out suggestions of what I think will work, but again, everybody's different, and you can say, you know what, I'm not going to be in this situation unless I feel important and feel like an equal, and that we're partners in our relationship, because this tells me that you are on the back burner, and his kids, even step family dynamics, is preach it. I'm not a preacher, Rhonda. I'm not religious at all. So, preach it. My voice is going out through puberty again. We look at the dynamics that, you know what, you got to be an equal in that relationship big time. And I know I'm not talking an equal where you discipline the kids if they're not yours. I already said, shows ago about discipline needs to come from the biological parent, basically biological parent in step family aspects. But this situation, you deserve to be an equal. You deserve to have a say in your life and in the relationship and what you want. And my question is, why would you tolerate that situation? And why would you be doing that to yourself? A lot of people are afraid to make a stand. I was going to get onto this if we had time in the row about men being afraid to take the stand. And I dealing with a couple clients now, relationships and marriage situation where the guy is afraid to take a stand because the relationship will end or the marriage will end. But I'm going to tell you, it's going to end no matter what if you don't take a stand. You put your foot down, because you're going to determine self-respect and you're going to have integrity. If you don't take a stand, you don't speak up. I'm going to tell you, you're going into a world of hurt before. And as I said numerous times, thousands of times, I work on strengthening the individual at the same time with the relationship. You be your own person. You keep your self-integrity intact, and your not only integrity, but your level of self-respect. Because if you give that self-respect by keeping your mouth shut, not saying anything, the resentment's going to build, and your partner's not going to have any respect for you by being quiet and not rocking the boat. Not only that, you're not going to have any self-respect. You're not going to like yourself. So my suggestion, Melissa, to your friend, I'm assuming you never did state what it was, but you look at that situation, you need to tell your friend that she needs to maybe speak up and say, you know what, you can do what you want. This is important to me, and I need to feel important in a relationship. So, you know what, you keep doing what you're doing, and we'll go how it goes. And she needs, not threaten, but just, do it. Because threats, You don't threaten. You better follow through with it. Like I said, with ultimatums, it's almost like, I'll give you 30 days to turn around. You give someone 30 days, but you better be ready to frickin' back that up, because a lot of people give deadlines and they don't follow through, and that means you're just full of shit, because what you say and your actions aren't being backed up. So don't give dates. Just when your gut is ready. If you're not ready and it's not healthy for you in that situation, you need to dismiss him. And I know I'm not being cold. I'm just trying to help you. And on the radio, it's, I'm compassionate. It's not easy. If you love somebody and all that stuff, it's not easy to break away. And I know, Melissa, you just went through this, and a lot of people have. It's not easy, and it's gut-wrenching, and it hurts. But I want you in a healthier spot. Going through a little pain and heartbreak now would be a lot easier than maybe living in misery for years down the road, or, going through this and stretching this out, hoping it will change down the road. I'm not one to, ease into situations, with kids and all this stuff, because you have to be the parent. You're not being your kid's best friend, and you have to set those parameters. You got to set those boundaries. Yeah. Why don't we take a little breather, let my voice cool out. We'll come back in. Melissa, thank you very much for the question, or if that came from a friend of yours that you suggested that hit me up on Facebook earlier today. I appreciate the question. That's actually a very good question, and I cover a lot with step-family dynamics, okay? I am going to peace out, take a break. This is the Art of Relationships radio show coming live from Podcast Detroit. We'll be back in a few moments. Thank you. If you're looking for that unique, cool fashion statement, check out Shoes by Shay on Facebook. She has hand-painted, hand-designed canvas shoes for you, your loved one. It's an inspirational piece unique to your own taste. Check out Shoes by Shay on Facebook. Again, that's Shoes by Shay on Facebook.
I can't figure out why the hell I can't say all the words that I've been thinking in my mind. Unless I'm in front of a crowd, shouting into a mic, and I'm naked. But I think that's just fine. And I've been wasting what feels like my whole life. And if there is something left to say, then I have kept it close to home. I've laid it out, I wrote it down. Now the thing I have to show is just a picture of a girl I've known for years, but I still don't know if there is something more to us. I need some hope. So can she get a little bit closer? talk about the cosmic thing. You know what I'm saying now? Yeah. Come on, little girl. And what we thought was nothing grew to be so much more, unlike anything there's ever been before. Shining star in the galaxy, true soulmate, and in a spatial connection, the cosmic groove, the influence of my love, the stars hopper, you're everything I've ever wanted, you're everything I've ever needed, my cosmic girl. Life is open as the stars at night. Love's a twilight, a journey through the Milky Way. It shines so bright, unlike anything that's ever been on earth. Your love is from the heavens, and that's why it works. The influence of my love, the stars hopper, you're everything I've ever wanted, you're everything I've ever needed, my cosmic girl, you're everything I've ever wanted, you're everything I've ever needed, my cosmic girl. Well, I feel the magic of the angels. When we're together, it's forever and ever. The influence of my love, the stars hopper, you're everything I've ever wanted, you're everything I've ever needed, my cosmic girl. You're everything I've ever wanted, you're everything I've ever needed, my cosmic girl. You're everything, baby, my cosmic girl, you and me now. You're everything, my cosmic girl,
Welcome back. This is Greg Dazinski, a.k.a. Master G, with the Art of Relationships radio show coming from Podcast Detroit Studios. Welcome, everybody. Everybody, if you want, you can give us a call here at the studio at 248-579-5295. Crap, I need my reading glasses. I just started reading. Need my reading. Oh, God, trying to get used to them. At my age and everything, I just started. It's weird. I'm unique. I used
See, and I've tried, like, I've had glasses since I was like 16 years old.
Yeah.
And I've tried, every couple of years I try contacts, and my eyes are just like, no.
Oh, I have not.
Never going to happen.
I've had 2017 vision up until probably 6 months ago, and I'm like, huh? What's that say? And I'm like, I'm squinting. Freaking everything's like moving on me. And I'm like, oh, this ain't cool. Dang it, I got to give in. I'm getting old. But you look at the situation, check us out. You join us on live chat. We have a few individuals on the live chat as well. And one question that was asked before the break, and I said I would handle it after the break, is how do you handle being accused of cheating on someone when you didn't, especially if it's your fiance and you have been together almost 5 years? Melissa, how can I be blunt on this? I look at the situation when you're getting accused of cheating, and this is a daily occurrence in my office, okay? And Rhonda, people that know me, students all over the place know 85% of the couples I deal with, there's either an affair by him or her, and we all know just as many women cheat, if not more, or there's divorce papers filed, and it's a last-ditch effort, and I start shaking, getting all nervous. Greg, you're our last hope, and I get all freaking nervous, shaking, sweaty, and I got to put more deodorant on, everything. But, serious, if you're getting accused cheating, I want to know, what am I doing right? I want you to say, what am I doing to cause you to think I'm cheating? I want you to take responsibility and own that. And if you're not doing anything, if he doesn't believe you and it's just his insecurities and all that stuff, or he's just trying to bash you or belittle you or criticize or take control over you, you need to dismiss his ass.
Well, and so that was a previous relationship of mine where God help me if I mentioned a female name, whether it was somebody I worked with, somebody I ran into in an event, I was instantly nailing them and yada, yada, yada. And so here's one of Dave's universal rules of life is that I do believe that you see in other people what you see in yourself.
I agree.
So the reality is that relationship ended, and she was engaged 4 months later.
Isn't that nice?
Just saying.
It's ouch. I'm sorry, and you're heartbroken.
No, I was good.
Yeah, and a lot of people, the old adage is, if someone is accusing you of cheating, that they're probably doing it. That could be the case, but not always. That's not always the case.
True.
A lot of it could be controlling, insecurity issues. Their self-esteem's in the toilet. All those aspects they all play a role in that. So I want to look at, first of all, in these situations, with jealousy and everything else, I ask, what are you doing, couples, individuals, what are you doing to make them jealous or make them feel insecure? And if you are not doing anything, I'm not talking they're up your ass 24/7 and driving you nuts. That's ridiculous. But if you're not doing anything to cause that, that's their issue, and you need to peace out with that. If they don't get help with the insecurity or aspects, and I'm not saying, that he's cheating or whatever because he's causing that, they could be belittling you, trying to control you, trying to manipulate you, and trying to guilt you into either staying in that relationship, giving up your own sense of self, giving up your own independence. And if that doesn't work, you need to peace out, okay? Because it's a very difficult decision to go, okay? I'm curious about what to do, if I made the right decision or if I am jumping the gun by leaving him. It's because I didn't answer my phone or text right away. That's controlling. If I can see if it's been 2 days or whatever, that's exactly, that's exactly it. I was meeting up with male coworkers after work for some drinks and game night. Ooh. Uh-oh. So that would make him jealous and think you're cheating on him. It was 5 hours. You know what? That would, if he knew what you were doing up front, and was there just a male? Was there a bunch of men? Was it a mixed group of coworkers and all this aspect? So you need to look at those aspects. If it was just with one male coworker, I can understand why. I'm not saying no big deal. If I don't trust you, peace out. I ain't gonna worry about it. You are not worth my time. But in the situation after 5 years together, he should be able to trust you enough to look at. And there's a difference between trusting and being a fool. A huge, huge difference when it comes to that. It was 3 males, 2 married. The 2 married. I don't even, and one other girl. The 2, 3 males, 2 married, 1 single. It doesn't matter if they're married or not. That doesn't mean they won't cheat or anything. So that doesn't work in nowadays standards. So you need to do, if it's
38 million accounts on Ashley Madison.
38. Oh, yeah, thank you. And we know some of them that got busted. The most recent is the
state troopers.
Oh, don't even get me going on cops.
Couple of state troopers using their official government issued email
I know.
address.
What a bunch of don't even get me. I hope I know. People know I'm not a huge fan of cops, but there are some good ones I know. One of my cousins is married to a really good guy actually, and he's actually just got promoted to a lieutenant in the Metro Detroit area. But you look at the situation where, if I'm doing anything, all that aspect, why would you invite your fiancé to go with you? I know, work hours or whatever, maybe that would help. And, would that help? Because you have 3 males, another single female, so you got 3 males, and 2 of them are married. They're married. I don't give a shit. That still, people cheat. Okay,
but you need the bonding time with
your
coworkers.
Agree. Yes, you do. Absolutely. So you look at why would he be jealous and worry about you cheating big time? Is it his insecurities or if it other things that you are doing? And at that situation, he needs to sort of man up a little bit and look at his own sense of self. Why would I worry about that? And if I have to worry about that, I'm not going to be with you anyways, because you know what? Peace out. I like myself. I'm confident in myself you know what? I'm confident in myself to not worry about that or deal with that. If I don't trust you, peace out. But if it's based on his insecurities and trying to gain control over the situation, why would you want to live like that? That would drive me nuts. And matter of fact, Dave was talking about, getting accused of cheating and all this stuff. I had to get a PPO order against an ex because, she wasn't married. Oh, my God. Because of that situation. She'd come to my office. It was freaking nuts, man. And I know I'm all that, but still, no, I'm teasing. But no, I'm serious. So you gave me my answer, so that's good. I made a good decision. Melissa. Oh, now this is where I need you to text over your signed consent that you won't sue my ass later. That you made a good decision. If
views and opinions,
yes, Expressa podcast, podcastdetroit.com, and Art of Relationships radio show are for educational and informational purposes only, and this is not to replace any professional counseling in any shape, way, or form, which is true. But you look at it, the decision you need to make, and it's being together with somebody for 5 years is, it's a long time. You need to go with your gut instinct and look at the dynamics that, was it, even though your heart might hurt and you're going to go through confusion and, insecurity with your decision. I think that's normal in any long-term relationship when it ends. But you go with your gut instinct. What is best for you at the time, and maybe chill out in that situation, okay? It's not easy. It sucks, I know. But this is where you need to look at the situation and say, you know what, I'm done with this. And I know, a lot of dynamics that was going on earlier, Melissa, before. So I have a lot more insight than maybe some other people just by you asking questions. But I'm not, I respect your privacy. I'm not throwing all your stuff out there. But you look at dynamics, and you're deep down in your gut, underneath the hurt, maybe the hurt, the sadness, and the anger, the confusion, underneath that in your gut's telling you made the right decision. You need to go with that and have faith and trust yourself, trust your instincts with that. And I think when we go against our instincts, we get burnt. You've heard me say before, Melissa, everybody has heard me say this. You go against your gut instinct, 9 times out of 10, you're going to get burnt. I'm speaking from experience myself, man. And Dave said earlier at the beginning of the show, sometimes people don't have good instincts. Yep. I get it, but I don't know if I think they might have maybe decent instincts, but they let their freaking emotions and their heart overplay their gut instinct. They don't listen to their gut instinct because maybe their insecurities. They don't want to be alone, so they end up with an abuser, a bitch, whatever the situation is, because their overall need or insecurities are playing out. They're overwhelming the actual deep down gut instinct that tells them, you know what? Oh, God, that was a great piece of ass, but she's trouble. And they let their, maybe their dick rule there, and they end up, oh, my God, in a bunch of drama land that you sit there and you just say, what is it, like CC Music Factory said, things that make you go, Well,
it's like, among our friends, there's a girl that we're all friends with, and she's awesome, and she's gorgeous, and she's funny, and she's also, we're completely convinced, burn your house down crazy.
Yeah.
And so that's why everything, we're like, no. Guys come along, no. So yeah, I mean, it's just, it is what it is.
And you just need to trust that.
Yeah.
The old, what is it, batshit crazy?
Yeah.
the old batshit crazy. So Melissa, you gotta, you try to trust your gut instinct. I tell people, they're there for, if it's, evolution and our gut instinct, I think they're there for a reason, to sort of help us out in life and life decisions and everything else. And we all have our insecurities. Oh my God, I'm scared. When you buy a house, your first house or whatever, or first apartment, first car, shit, anything really, maybe first time you're having sex, am I doing the right thing? We all have our insecurities and about that. And it's good with that. But after it's all said and done, go with your gut instinct and, you go from there, and hopefully it plays out. And chances are, after the pain, you're going to realize, you know what, I made the right decision. So hopefully that helps. And like I said, you need to sign a disclosure that you won't sue me. Okay. Any other questions? Actually, we might. You about ready to get out of here?
I'm good, man.
Sweet. Oh, you're welcome, Melissa. You're very, very welcome.
I go with the Jeff Spicoli. If you're here and I'm here, this is kind of our time.
Our time, yes, it is. It's our time. So I'll send an invoice over to you. I'll send billable hours times shit. Damn. No. I want to thank Mr. Bossman Dave Phillips, and plug your show, please. Do us a favor, plug your show again. We need that.
No, so I mean it's IT in the D. We're on Monday nights live from 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. and don't let the IT scare you. We talk. It happens to be the name of our group, and we halfway regret carrying that forward into the name of the show now, because the last thing we talk about is IT.
I know.
We've got current events, news information, and we've got CEOs and CIOs and CTOs on our show, but we also have roller derby girls and the guys that run Go Comedy Improv and, the folks that do Comic Cons and that kind of stuff. Just a lot of cool stuff going in, on and around the area, and that's what we talk about for, 2 hours while we're having a few beers. It's our bowling night is how we
I know, that's Dave said bowling, first time we talked today. It's our bowling night, and it turned into this shit. And Princess Fu, he is funny. Dave's extremely intelligent man, intelligent. Rhonda, you told Melissa to send him a pizza. Pizza ain't gonna pay my bills, damn it. It might feed me, but it ain't gonna pay my damn bills. I need money. So if you are wanting to make donations to the show, send all donations via PayPal. Check out my website. Actually, one of them. I forget Spicoli. Rhonda mentioned Spicoli. Make sure you check out my website. The counseling website is theartofrelationships.org. The radio show website is theartofrelationships.com. radioshow.org. I know it's long. You always check me out on Facebook, too, under my name, Greg Dudzinski, Dudzinski. I have another Facebook page, Art of Relationships, excuse me, and it's basically a copycat of my other page because, like, damn, I need to separate the two. But make sure you check Dave out, podcastdetroit.com, IT and the D, Monday nights, and check out other shows, too. There's a lot of cool shows, a lot of great talent.
Yeah, we're getting close to having a full roster these days.
Do you? Yeah, it's just a lot of, oh, my God, a lot of not only talented people. And Dave, we were talking about this during the break, that he's got this keen insight for good people coming in contact with him in the shows, and just tremendous people. Well, good people.
You run a networking group with 5,000 odd people in it. You learn how to assess people quickly.
Yes, that's sort of my job too. So, oh God, their diagnosis, they're just effed up. No.
Yeah, you're broken.
You're not bent. What was that Pink song? We're not broken, just bent. Yeah. So, thank you so much for joining us on chat and catching the Art of Relationships radio show. Stay tuned. I'll post more information on Facebook. Peace out, everybody. Take care. Have a happy, safe evening. Much love to everybody out there. Take care.
If you're looking for that unique, cool fashion statement, check out Shoes by Shay on Facebook. She has hand-painted, hand-designed canvas shoes for you, your loved one. It's an inspirational piece unique to your own taste. Check out Shoes by Shay on Facebook. Again, that's Shoes by Shay on Facebook.